Welcome to the Beard Me That Beard podcast. I'm David.
I'm Sam. I'm David.
And welcome to episode number 38, Video Games.
Cool.
Part 2.
Cool.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Do X.
Just working off of last week, finishing our list. So, more cool things to be said.
Will video games be cool? I think last week we said they were.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt about that.
Spoiler alert, I don't think we like video games, so
yeah. Also, spoiler alert, I fucked up my neck, so if I do some weird stretches video, people watching,
he's gonna be doing like a lot of these turtleneck moves.
Turtle. Master of disguise.
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Nobody remembers that movie.
That's a great movie.
Terrible.
Wasn't that
Carvey?
Not what?
Danya Carvey.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say
Dana.
No, some other guy. Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, ooh.
But that's
more different.
Most Wanted Malibu.
yeah, that's true.
Chapstick.
Kicking it old school. Like, what else was he in outside of Scream?
Wasn't he in a movie, like a real serious role where he was like a computer hacker or something?
I know
like
he
a
was
computer desk.
I know he's in like some of those Tremors sequels.
No, he was like a serious role in one movie. He was like at a desk. Anyways, video game, cool.
Yes.
Part 2. But first,
the beer.
The Mead.
Oh.
So today we're doing Mead. Not beer, but it's basically
alcohol.
Some sort of form of alcohol that we drink. From Superstition Meadery. This is called the Blueberry Dreamboat.
The Meadery.
The Meadery. Hoppy milkshake season mead. Session mead. A flavor adventure. It's so dreamy. This is what it says on it. Yeah. Handcrafted. Session mead. From Prescott, Arizona. And I'm going to really quickly... I don't know what to read, actually.
My phone is off. I don't know what I'm looking
No, I just this says their mead. I guess I'll read this first paragraph. From the very beginning, we have been following a path instilling excellence and quality in everything we do. We collaborate with, exchange barrels amongst, and pour alongside the most reputable businesses in the craft beverage industry.
Collaborate?
We embrace techniques and ingredients as we are constantly engaging in studying, developing, and testing fresh ideas. Mm. There's another one I don't want to read. From our humble beginnings in Skull Valley to our historic tasting room renovation in Prescott. I guess Skull Valley is some other place in Arizona.
Skull Valley?
Yeah, to designing a state-of-the-art production facility and to building the world's first mead and food pairing restaurant in downtown Phoenix.
So does it mean it's just the first... It's a mead and food pairing restaurant?
Mead.
In the world or just in Phoenix?
The world's first mead. I know that. I guess
the world's first
in Phoenix.
Mead and
Phoenix
and foodery in Phoenix. I'm like, then it's just in Phoenix.
I think. They're saying they're the world's first food pairing restaurant. Phoenix. So I guess if you go there, you have to order food, and it has to be with mead.
Like, what
so
are they
it's
gonna
like
do?
you order
Is it a gunpoint or something?
A buffalo chicken sandwich. They should pair me with a mead.
Can I get that with the water? Yes, you can have it with mead. I don't.
Yeah,
I want to
go
drink.
across the street and find it somewhere else.
What about some lemonade? Nope, not here. You can't.
Mead a maid.
Yeah, the meter maid.
We follow our mission to reintroduce the world's oldest fermented beverage to mankind.
Is that like refutable? Is that like...
I don't think it is.
Is that like a scientific fact?
I doubt it was. I think beer was the oldest.
So this wasn't left in like a jar that they dredged from the Pacific.
No,
from like
this isn't the exact oldest fermented one.
Like that honey from like
we paid the price of the oldest meadery for it. Mead is not cheap. So this is honey, blueberries, hops, lactose, and vanilla. So I'm thinking like a honey, creamy.
Lactose and vanilla kind of taste.
But bitter. But mead is very sweet, so I don't think I'm going to hit any bitter. But I'm interested to see how the hops goes into it.
So, correct me if I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
All right, good. Don't need to say anything then. No. Like, have we had mead on the show before?
I don't think we have ever had mead. I thought we did, but I remember it being the honey blonde ale.
So if we've never had mead, that means I've never had mead. So
I don't think we've ever had mead on here. So you've never had mead.
No.
So the mead I've had before, and it's only been like 3 or 4 times, tastes like honey. And
Is it really though?
Yeah, it's honey.
Like legit
That's what
honey.
mead is.
Like it's not like it's like it
Mead
tastes
is
like
made
tar with a
from
hint of
honey.
sweet.
It's made from honey.
It's mead from honey.
Mead made honey.
It's mead from honey.
So yeah, but every time I've had it, it tastes the same. There's subtle differences in each batch, but they all taste like I'm drinking honey in liquid form. So
Okay.
not like thick, really, really drinkable.
Okay, but like to a layman who thinks all beer tastes the
Watered
same.
down honey.
Watered down honey.
Yeah.
Thank you. not to just
try it.
dismiss everything you just said. But look
That
at
was
that.
sync. That was sync.
In sync.
Oh, it's red.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be mead.
Wow.
Oh,
That smells.
the color looks different.
Not like beer. That
I was
smells
expecting.
amazing.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, no, that adds up. I
let me
was gonna like
describe this.
honey. I would think yellow.
It's got like that beer smell. I can smell the hops, but it doesn't smell like beer. It's more calming.
It smells soapy.
Really? Smells blueberry,
Probably
sweet.
because I sniffed a candle.
Oh my god,
What'd you think?
that is a lot of flavor.
Is it good flavor? Is it good flavor?
It's a lot of different flavors: vanilla,
still didn't
blueberry,
answer.
syrup, honey. No bitterness though, so I think it might be too sweet for you. Like 9 flavors all at once at the beginning, and then it just tastes like
Is that what mead tastes like?
no. This is a very mead. I mean, when you go down and like, this is a lot more than mead. This is very experimental to me. It's like having an imperial pastry stout sour. It's crazy.
This doesn't taste like alcohol. What does this taste like? It tastes like liquidy cough syrup.
Can you
with
feel
like honey?
Yeah, it does have a cough syrup like Robitussin or NyQuil.
Yeah,
NyQuil kind
but
of
not
cherry.
as thick. Not that thick, viscous
Do you kind
consistency.
of feel the stickiness on your mouth though?
I mean,
I
not
guess
really.
on your lips. I do right away.
You feel it on my lips?
On my lips.
David, we haven't kissed yet.
You just sucked my dick.
I don't get that. But this tastes surprisingly different.
Crazy.
It's weird. I'm gonna have to drink more mead from now on just to frame this.
To me, and I think to most people who actually know what mead is, this is a lot more than mead. Honey and blueberries and vanilla. This tastes more like a sour pastry stout to me.
But it's not really sour. It's like
It's got tart.
like hints of like it's almost kind of fruity's not the right word. It reminds me of something fruity though. I'm not very good. This just I don't know. I'm a lack of words.
There's a
to
blueberry in
describe. I don't taste blueberry. Hints of blueberry towards the end.
That's what the tart is.
That's different. Interesting.
But I taste a little bit of meat. I wish there was more honey to it than all this other stuff.
I do taste the honey. I do think it could benefit from more honey.
Yeah, this is like
packets.
to me, this is more like an infused beer, like a half beer, half mead.
Okay, if I were to close my eyes and wipe my memory
And someone gave
just
it to you?
imagine, this is what I would imagine like a kombucha would taste like if I had never tasted kombucha before.
I mean, we've tasted kombucha.
No, I'm saying if I hadn't and like I had to imagine what a kombucha tasted like, I would think it'd be something like this.
This feels like, like you go trick or treating, and you have like a generic candy. Mm-hmm. But there's like a generic Hershey's bar, like Hershey's bar. Like it's just it's like a generic.
Is that a? Oh
chocolate
my
bar.
god! Is that a solid Hershey bar?
That's
my
a Walmart
favorite.
one.
My favorite.
But it's just like a generic version of it. But there's that Hershey's that tastes a little different. This to me tastes like overdone generic candy.
but of mead.
Yeah, but it's got the sweet part. It's just it's too much for me.
It's like an off-brand.
And I like coffee. I wanted to get a malted caramel or malted coffee stout, but
Well, this is definitely not that.
I know, but like to some people, that's overdoing it. Or like putting fruit in a IPA. Like, oh, that's that. No, just drink the IPA. Like, but to me, this is a little too much going on.
So sounds a little bit more negative on your end.
It's not.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I don't
I'm
know
going
how
to drink it again because there's another beer right here.
I don't know. I don't think I have a negative review of it, but I'm like, I don't know what to think of it.
It's too much of a lot of different flavors, and some of them don't work.
I encourage you to try it.
I encourage myself to go find a different mead, maybe their most plainest mead, and see how good it is.
I just need to try another mead to frame this one for myself. So I'm like, because I don't know. It's confusing. It's a confusing
have you had a
drink.
cider?
What?
Have you had a cider before?
I've had cider.
I guess it's closer to cider. What?
It does taste more like, it tastes kind of cider-esque.
It's more like a cider to me than beer. But then cider and mead are.
I guess I don't know what
beer.
mead is. I'm like,
It's honey.
mead?
Yeah.
Is that the textbook
it's
definition?
like what seed.
Oh, good. All right. Prove it.
Instead of hitting him in the face.
Yeah, hit me with facts.
Hit me with your best shot. An alcoholic drink of fermented honey and water.
But it's not just honey.
Well, it's like beer. It's 3 things, but you can add different stuff. But that's the thing.
It's like an alcohol made from honey.
Do you want me to
could
look
have said
at
that.
Do you want me to look?
No, this is enough. That's enough.
I literally said mead is honey. Like,
you're saying it's honey.
it is honey.
It's not like, you're not saying it's like,
Yeah, but how do you get alcohol? You know it's fermentation. You know that much.
what's that mean?
Get the fuck out.
All right. Looks like we have mixed reviews on here, but yeah, try it yourself. It's different. It's interesting, to say the least.
Here's your definition I think you want. The defining characteristic of mead is that the majority of the beverage fermentable sugar is derived from honey.
See, that makes sense to me. Not just, it's honey. It's not honey. It is derived from
Remember
honey.
when you said for the lane?
What?
For the lane?
For the what? I don't even know what you're saying right now. Anyway.
I'm trying to speak onto your level. So
Speak onto my level?
No big words for Sam.
Small idea.
For you.
Small for me.
Many words, one word. Or like
Crunch,
the Office episode.
Crunch down for me.
Kevin, do. Kevin, we're going to get you a house. Me, okay.
It's just you're speaking in another language to me right now.
Me and my mechanic are best friends.
That's good.
But I don't have to.
All right. Anyway, enough with the mead. Let's on to the games.
What game?
Is
this a game?
In general.
All right. We are continuing video games.
Game me that game.
Game me that beer.
All right. I believe where we left off last week, it was the arcade question, right?
Question 10.
I mean, now we're on question 10, because 9 was, have you ever played a video game in an arcade? Are arcades popular in your country?
Yeah, that was the last one. Okay. 10.
All right. Question number 10. Number 1 for cool 2.
Do.
All right. Do video games help develop skills? What mental or physical skills do they help players to develop?
Yes.
Moving on.
Mental,
What
I
do you
guess.
think?
Reactions, pretty important in video games.
Reactions?
Yeah.
Like, elaborate.
Reaction to things happening.
Reaction, like your reaction time?
Yeah. Or just the ability to react.
Your responsiveness.
Your ability to react is important in video games, and I think you get better at that. Also, just prepping and planning, I think, go a long way, especially now. Like we're hitting video games where they're more realistic in a sense that it's not like, oh, I just get magic and I do things. So now it's like you need to learn how to get that magic by finding a book or something, and then you got to get ingredients or be in some sort of mode. Like, so it goes a long way of more planning. Even the first-person shooters or third-person shooters goes into like, well, no, you need to put armor on and not just a shield.
So can you give like a specific example of like an instance of, like, is there like a game you could think of in particular for like an example of what you're saying?
Warzone. It's a Call of Duty game, and you have to put armor on. like I literally said. And you get 3 slots and you got to put it on, but you're in a live world. You're getting shot at. So you got to, hey, am I doing it right now? And I think that helps you in looking at the world around you differently.
Like in a general sense?
In a general sense, yeah.
Like to be,
or like problem solving. Like, I'm looking at I don't have to look at a problem dead on. You can look at it from different angles. I think that's what games help.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think most gamers, are actually very, very smart in a certain way. And I think in our society, we tend to not look at people. If you're not like overall smart, you just really don't matter. Society
people dismiss you.
Society-wise. But I think we need to go into a world where you're smart at one thing. Why don't we just find out where you can be doing that one thing?
Interesting. But yeah, no, I definitely agree too.
Physically.
What are you trying to
hand strength is important.
I think like dexterity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see what, like, especially like if you're just thinking like in that regard, like that would help kind of improve like those finer motor functions for like.
Because I think most people can't like do finer motor things, like small things, very small technical, like taking screws out of glasses. I think that's hilariously impossible to do.
Screws out of glasses.
Like when you break your glasses.
You mean like eyewear? I was thinking like glass cups.
Glasses,
like, what do you mean glasses? Oh, for your eyes. I understand.
I'm just like small stuff like that. It's like people can't do that, but playing video games, I think I can do that because I have these fine motor, little tiny moves. Or like my job soldering. That's fucking hard, but
you have that particular fine hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, looking at things, focusing.
I think like in general, like video games, they definitely help, especially more with like the analytical side of your brain. So like help you like analyze and kind of like break down situations like quicker. Like it definitely helps with your responsiveness. Yeah. So like reactions, yeah. Like I know me, like I'm constantly playing puzzle games, and I don't know. I feel like that translates into the real world with like, okay, if I come up again to like a problem, like I'm quicker to come up with alternatives because I kind of have that. I mean, like that pathway in my brain is open because I'm using it like fairly often with video games. It's just like it loans itself to kind of like out of the box kind of thinking a little bit.
And then you could also look at it a different way. It might be bad for you because
I said so.
Well, no, like puzzle games, you look at it as like, oh, there's a problem somewhere. But sometimes there's a problem that's right in front of you, but you won't be able to see it because you're looking at it a different way. Or like with shooting games, like, well, it's dead on, so I can't look any other way. And I can't figure out stuff. Like playing as primarily like a Halo player, there's not much in Halo. It's pretty straightforward. There's not like I gotta make sure I have all these packs and stuff. No, I have my weapons and my shield.
My crosshairs turn red. Yeah. I pull the trigger
and I'm done. So
like pull it until the screen changes.
Like playing Warzone is like there's a lot to do. I guess the immersive is what people want, but I mean video games. I'll just smash and grab. Let's go.
I don't know. Definitely with video games, this made me more mindful of like. Especially like modern day games, like there's like a bigger emphasis now on like resource management. Yeah. Which like
I'm not good at because I grew up in a way is like there's no what resources? Who cares? Bullets, ammunition. I picked that off from dead people.
That might just be like the kind of games you play, but I'm just putting that out there. That could be a thing that could factor in for some people. Like I'm definitely like the stuff I play. Like I'm more mindful. Doesn't mean like I'm actively keeping track of that stuff, but like I'm like, all right, this thing's going down. I'm gonna run out of this at some point. So like that's in the back of my mind now for certain things. But
okay,
I don't know. Anyway, it sounded like that was yes. That was like
I said yes.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I said.
All right, yeah, it's good. It's good. All right, number 11. Children enjoy video games. Fact. How old should a child be before he or she is allowed to play video games? I don't think it's a question of whether they should be allowed to play video games. I think it depends on the kinds of games.
I think there should be a limit because I'm firmly a believer that a 6-year-old shouldn't have a cell phone or iPad.
Okay, a cell phone or an iPad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think electronics should be barred from children. Not because I think it's going to like destroy them, but I think it's going to hinder them from learning more about a little bit about physicality in the world. Because like you give a kid a violent game at 6 and that's all they play, it's probably going to change them a little bit. But if you let them go get hurt and play on the playground, ride their bike, like feel pain, and then give them violent games, they're probably going to look at it a little differently. Also, I think people who get like those sort of computer stuff early, it makes them less of a person a little bit. Not in the sense like you're not a good person, but like maybe that ability to be able to be friendly.
Be friendly?
Yeah.
You mean socialize?
Yeah, socialize. Like, getting, like, oh, I can't live without it. Like, we're like that right now. And it's terrible.
That's true.
It's terrible. It doesn't, like... But it's also technology. We're advancing. We use it. We need it. We have everything right here. But I think 12 is a good age to start playing video games.
Okay.
Yeah. But Sam does have a point with like the type of video games, because I know I was playing math games back in the day on CD-ROMs.
Right.
When I was like 8 or 9. They were fun. Looking back, I was like, why? Why did you do that to yourself? Because I'm not good at math now.
All right, I get where David's coming from. I have a counterpoint though. Like I was saying, like it depends on the kinds of games, and also, especially with developing minds, I would think like everything, moderation, and like, you know, especially like, not to say because I am one, but like if you were a parent, I would think like, you know, don't just like write it off as an excuse, like, oh, okay, this is a thing I could use to babysit my kids. Like, I'll just dump them off on it, which is lazy parenting. Don't do that.
It was everything back in the day.
Yeah.
Here's the TV. See ya.
I mean, like, but against that, I get why, because it's easy. Because like, you're like, all right, I'm like overwhelmed right now. I have all this shit going on in my life, and I've got like this extra mouth. But that's constantly needing.
When you have a child, that's your responsibility.
No.
Forever.
I'm just saying. I'm like,
there's no breaks.
It's
you know what's happening.
It's not an excuse. I get where it comes from, though. I'm like, you're like, oh, okay, well, cool. They can sit tight for a few hours while I'm doing something else.
No, you don't get one. That's your fault.
I'm like, why are you attacking me?
I'm not even a parent.
I'm not a parent. I'm putting those ideas out there.
You.
I don't do that. I'm a faucet from which things spew.
And I am spewing
information
back into that faucet.
Yeah. But I would say like, okay, maybe like, you know, 4 to 6 year old child don't like. You're like, all right, well, you've never played video games before. Doom, just like shove it on them, or like just you know, maybe hold off on violent games for kids.
I'm not saying violent games make kids violent, but they are not able to understand what's going on.
I know. That's why
they need to grow up. Yeah, but I'm not also saying that violent video games shouldn't be played before you're 18.
So I'm saying. Well, do you have more points to go on that?
Well,
go ahead.
Like, I mean, back in the day, it's like, hey, I want Halo. It's rated M. Can't buy it. But your parent can buy it right in front of you for you.
Right.
You know, 16 isn't that much of a difference.
I think it is. All right. So let me take a step back. Let me go off of my own personal experience. So I grew up with video games from a fairly young age. I would say I started playing regularly, maybe like around like age like 5 or 6? I don't know. Like first console we played regularly was, yeah, right. I'm a functioning adult. The first console we had
can argue that.
was like, well, like first console I would play regularly, like, was like the PS1. So like, you know, I grew up with classics. Like we had Spyro, we had Crash Bandicoot, a lot of the old Sony flagship stuff. And like you know, especially those particular games, there are a lot of like, it's kind of like lighthearted, almost cartoonish,
they're
like
violent.
puzzle solving.
There are violent games. Crash Bandicoot, you beat up, you jump on them, you squish them.
Fuck you.
I mean, it's not violent.
It's not.
Back in the day, the violence level was way lower. Yes or no?
It's different.
It
was different.
It was lower.
And also, I think, you know, product of the time is like graphics were only so good back then, so they had to be a little creative with how they presented stuff. Like,
I don't know, Mortal Kombat looked pretty.
it looks like shit.
It looks like shit now, but back then it's like, wow, this is so violent and graphic.
Well, I'm not saying dump Mortal Kombat on your kid. I'm just saying,
I
like,
mean, that game sucked too.
well, all right. Side note: if you don't have very good hardware for your games, choose a really cool art aesthetic, and then like your game won't age as much. So you know, that's like a way to work around limitations of hardware. But anyway, I would say like, again, like I was saying to start, like moderation. So just like, you know, like you could play a little bit, we'll get you off, and then you can like get all those social skills down like you're supposed to, so you're not like an alien by the time you're 14 and you can't talk to people. Like, it's like everything.
He says moderation. Maybe to me, it's like levels. Like you can play this game right now. Like I mean, like that's what the rating system's for.
Well,
like,
I mean,
games were built. Hey, these are for this age, and it's important to follow them. But you know, if you have a good 12-year-old, they're not gonna. They'll be able to play a rated M game, which is just a lot of heavy shooting and killing, and they won't shoot up people because you made them into a person that knows consequences. So that's me agreeing with you.
I'm okay. Great.
You said moderation. I think levels of.
So I'm saying so before a certain age, I'm saying moderation, but like keeping in mind that I'm thinking like the bar for like violence and like, you know, just like the level of games differs from age to age. So like if you're like a preteen, maybe keep it lighter. Like, you know, hold off on like, I don't know, like what's a terrible game? Like hold off on your Manhunts and your Grand Theft Autos and anything from Rockstar.
But I think I think enjoy the world as a child before you hit games.
Yeah,
because they're like, I think 10 is a great place to start. 10 to 12. Yeah, go, because like, I mean, my child was different. I wasn't allowed to go outside, but I would have loved to go outside and play games. Like, but I just wasn't allowed to. And also, I wasn't allowed to play like that many games until I got like a 64. Like 64 was like, oh no, rated M game, just really soft, docile games. But I'd rather have that life where I could go outside.
Which explains the giant man child you are now,
where I can do whatever the fuck I want
with growing resentment for everybody
with money.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next question.
Yeah,
that's enough of that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that question. It's really I could keep talking about that for a while, I think. But next, okay, so we went from ageist to sexist. It seems that most video game players are male. Why do boys like video games more than girls do?
I mean, Sam said it was a sexist industry. And it's always been sexist society. Girls can't do what guys do.
I think this is currently changing at the moment.
Not as fast as I thought it would.
Not as well. I mean, anything like this, like, you know, like gender related stuff. It's like it's always slow to change, right? But like I mean, from what I've observed, like it's changing. It's not like it was where it's like, you know, it's like one girl to every like 10 dudes or whatever. Like, that sounds like weird.
One girl to every 9 dudes.
It's slowly changing. The dynamic is shifting, and we are seeing like, I mean, like more females represented, like for gaming stuff in general. Yeah,
but still not
enough.
Like it's still probably, I mean, barely 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm. But like as it stands now, I mean, like all like, you know, adult age gamers or whatnot. I think it's just, you know, especially like people like our age or like older, like you grew up in a time period where that was like, you know, that was like boys get action figures, girls get dolls. It's like boys get video games, girls, I don't know, get like a makeup kit or something, or like, you know, some weird bullshit like that.
It's the product of their livelihood, of them growing up, and so it's not their fault.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the stuff that was like
fucking boomers' fault.
not to put a blame on anybody, but kind
Okay,
of.
boomers.
But so it was like, that's what was advertised. It's like that was like they were pushing that stuff on boys, and that's like what the parents are like, oh, so what's cool for the boys right now, and then like girls catering to different things.
That's what it is.
That's
for.
it.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be a boy right now, is to have these things and do these things.
And now it's like, so on how I think of it, it's like everyone should play whatever they want, do whatever they like, no matter who they are or what they are or how they define themselves or what gender or not gender. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what people who have been suppressed.
Suppression is a good word to put out there.
But it really is. I mean, you and I don't feel it because we're men. So we don't really know. I mean,
privilege.
I would, yeah, it is. It is a privilege, and you got to see that privilege and choose how you use it or not use it.
But also,
because that's also
I'm an adult, and no one's gonna tell me fucking otherwise.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. I just saw the South Park episode where it's like, we have the right to start a war. Oh, we have a right to not go to war and not want a war, and then like Eric Cartman goes back and he's like. And then Benjamin Franklin comes up and is like, why don't we look like a country that wants to go to war, but also not look like a country that doesn't, like, it's like the right to bear arms. Like, what does that mean? And there's like, but was the question, why do girls like, or why do boys like games more?
So I'll read it one more time. So, seems most video game players are male. Why do boys like video games more than girls do?
So I would ask what the video game player is defined. Is that someone serious or just in general?
Let's
just go in general.
I don't think that's true what this question is asking, because I think girls like video games just as much as boys do. I think it's just,
and I don't think, because it's like, oh, you didn't play that, you weren't given the chance to play that, so you don't get to play that.
I'm not saying like in generalities. I think girls and boys are just as capable of liking.
No. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's capable of liking something and not liking something.
Exactly.
That's.
Well, you're talking about like the ratio, the number of guys to girls.
Yeah, because they weren't given that chance.
Yeah, so like they didn't grow up with it. Yeah. So it's like you're less likely to like a thing.
They were raised by boomers.
You got a lot of hate.
I mean, they say it's all our fault, but what's it like when I say it's their fault?
I don't care.
I mean, I do, because we got to make it a little better, though.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, and then, it's like when people say, it's like, well, if you don't like it, you could just get out of America. It's like, what's wrong with not?
If I don't like that, I don't have to talk to you.
Why can't I just make it better? Like,
just don't talk to me.
Yeah, don't touch me.
I think you seem like more. You're better about that than I.
Yeah. Well, I also think of it as like, they also don't want to be like thrown on this pedestal and like, oh, you're a woman, awesome, amazing, you're playing games, you're breaking the mold. Like, they don't want to be seen like that either. They just want to see another person, an equal, playing a game, which is, that's how I see.
There's like a weird level of tokenism where it's like, oh, a girl that plays games.
Don't put them on a pedestal. They're a person that and that's how I kind of
just enjoy
view everything. Like, everyone's a person, and whatever, however they identify themselves, that's how they identify that person. That's it. It's kind of like what you use, like, it doesn't matter. It's like, no one's special. Yeah. Like, you are who you are.
We're all piece of shit assholes.
Yeah. And that's it.
I don't know.
So I take it from your thing, but I also combine it for like, we need to be better. But don't be that asshole that's like, oh, it's so cool that like, oh, you're a girl playing. It you want to join my clan? Like, no, Bruce, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
It's kind of, I don't. All right. Well, I mean, this just for women in general.
It's like that turd sandwich and giant douche. Don't be either. Let people be people.
I was like, the female gamer thing kind of reminds me of like female comedians. It was like that same kind of conversation comes up. Like, oh, she was really good for a female comedian. Yeah. Or like, oh, really good for a gamer, really and she's a girl.
Just being.
Yeah. How about they're just funny, or they just like games, or like.
But I did watch this little like documentary about professional gamers and the women. Mm-hmm. And there was like that story about I think they were a Russian League of Legends team, all female team, and they broke more records for losing, and like they didn't win one match as a professional team. They lost in less than 30 minutes, the fastest you could. Like, it was just like a lot, but And people were like, "Oh, it's more of a stunt, like trying to break the mold," which is fine. You know, we do like you need that jump, you need that like Trump. It brought out all the fucking crazies, so you need something like an adrenaline shot or a catalyst. Really, that's what I'm trying to say. But you know, we can name thousands of women or girls that are way better at video games than us, and that's okay. Because you know why? Because they're people.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap. Equality for gaming.
I'm going to run for president soon.
That's a good platform, David. When I'm president, all the female gamers are...
Like in the... We went to get beer and we were coming back and I was like, why did this guy run the red light? It's like, when I rule, there's going to be a laser field when a red light turns on and it's just going to cut your car in half if you're not in the other lane.
Strict traffic laws.
And if you run the red on a right,
snipers at every corner. Terrible. Okay, but cool. All right, next. Moving on to the next question. Have you ever played a game that requires physical movement, like the Nintendo Wii? That's not a game. That's a console.
Bro, we're going.
What are the benefits of this kind of game?
We're going DDR.
Okay, this is a perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
Dance Dance Revolution. Done.
I would say that is the crux of the argument.
Yeah. I
have played other motion games, though.
You can bring other motion games up, but DDR wasn't really a motion game because it was just like a giant...
It is a motion game.
I mean, you have to move, but this is motion too.
You know what they mean.
The motion capture
motion.
games are like that camera to me. At DDR would not be good with the camera.
It makes no mention of motion capture. It just says physical movement.
I know, you said that. I mean, but every game is physical movement. I mean, you like doing this.
I like doing what?
You like turning a lot, like moving your control because you think that's going to help.
No, it's just that's a psychological. I have issues. That translates physically. That's not, the game is not requiring me to do that. That is like
DDR, Guitar Hero, all that good stuff. But DDR for me was like the first game, and the benefits are you move. You're burning more cal.
Especially like a game like DDR, that is like a full body exercise.
It's like running a mile every 2 songs. You burn it. You will burn that 100. Mine's 176 calories per mile.
Yeah, that I would say DDR is probably my favorite
Guitar
pick
Hero
for that argument.
Was a one too.
Yeah,
dexterity more and hammer and the solo thing, but then they came out with Rock Band, had the drums.
Yeah, that just got more and more involved.
And then the Wii, bowling.
So that was one of my favorite things when the Wii came out. Like I know, because you know, like a lot of like the Nintendo fanboys and stuff picked up on that. But I liked that there were demographics picking up on it that like you wouldn't normally think of at first. Like I know, like a lot of like the elderly
it was like
really
a huge
picked up on it.
Senior home thing where seniors were literally battling diabetes and getting better because of the Wii.
That was so cool.
Yeah. And it's not like Nintendo probably built it to help everyone. Yeah. But as Americans, we only think about able-bodied people. So it was like a huge shock. Like, oh, the elderly are doing it, and they're getting healthy.
Right. It was just like, especially like. I mean, like a lot of like the big like, you know, gaming manufacturers and everything, like they all have like that business minded mindset. Yeah. But like especially like Nintendo, they've always been trying to push that envelope.
Every age, as much as they can, which is why they're so successful.
Yeah, with like a non-linear kind of.
I think their success is more based on the long term because they've always been successful.
Yeah,
and it's like PlayStation, Xbox, they're like.
It's up and down. Yeah.
And mostly I think it's because of the fucking developers they choose to work with.
Yeah, well, I would say like Nintendo's been the most consistent for the longest. And like, you know, I think that just goes to show.
They have smart growth, over time. And also I don't know if I'm wrong, but they probably have the most selling console of all time.
I mean, over the lifetime of just their company releasing.
And also, go find a Super Nintendo, and you can go find a PlayStation anywhere.
That's cool, man.
But Sam's right. They just hit every mark, and I think it comes down to just like fun.
Yeah, like they're very accessible
very
games,
broad fun,
which like also kind of motivate people to get off the couch.
Yeah,
which is cool.
We was huge. But people were like, "Oh, I've just been playing Wii for a year. I lost 60 pounds.
That's awesome.
And now it's like people are wanting like, I can't even lose 10 pounds. Like, well,
fucking get a Wii.
Yeah, get a Wii.
What are you doing?
Like, go
do
play
some bowling.
Go play 8 hours of Wii Sports. It's gonna fall right off of you.
Do some bowling. Pick up some archery. Whatever.
Or in like now the future VR. Like that's all physical now because now it's not 2D. Now it's all around you. And my last roommate, Andrew, he had the
Oculus.
No, the Vizio or whatever it's called, not the TV.
It's like the
Vive. I think he had the Vive. HTC.
Okay.
And I played it with him, and goddamn, it's like not only are you working up like a sweat from being physical, but you're like freaking out because it's like the most immersive thing.
Yeah,
ever. Like it's like there was a shooting one.
Yeah, like
all these like it was like Left 4 Dead, but like cardboard zombies.
Yeah,
and then you have guns all around you, and you got to pick. It's like
like, and I know at this. Well, I think actually I'll hold off on that because I think there might be a VR related question coming up.
Okay,
but
is there a VR question?
Yes.
All right, let's go to the next one.
All right. Next question. Virtual reality systems are gaining popularity these days. Are you excited about the potential of virtual reality, or are you worried? Why?
So I think like 4 years ago, there was a boom, a giant boom, and now it just kind of like I kind of rolled off. There's like it went into like, oh yeah, cool. It's cool if you have it, but it's not. I just don't think it's accessible enough.
I think
one, it's too expensive.
It is. And
I'm not saying too expensive because for what you get, it's not. But I'm just saying as a cheap person, it's too expensive. Which is why I'm really worried about these new consoles being $600-$700.
Just climbing and climbing.
That's too expensive. I don't even want to buy that.
Yeah, the average consumer is like it's gradually going up and up and up, and like there's it's going to plateau for people whether they're going to buy into the next generation or not. So.
But VR is awesome. It's super fun, and it's like consoles a year, like 10 years ago. $200. That's too much. But now, like in 6 years, they're gonna be like $700. That's nothing, and they're gonna be $1,000. So it's just the way we grow as a society.
Just everything gets more expensive.
Everything gets more expensive, and we don't get enough raises to pay for things. Maybe we should control.
But I think. So like you said, there was a bit of a boom. I think it was kind of artificial. I think a lot of like the developers and stuff were really just pushing it. I think
it's when Facebook bought Oculus, and then everyone's like, ah.
You think so?
Well, Facebook, everyone knows it's not a good company. But I think there was a demand for it, but not your average gamers. I think it was your gamers that, hey, I have a PC, I have an Xbox. Oh, I want to buy this now.
I think I'm excited about virtual reality. It's just I think it's still in its infancy. Like
it's gonna get better, but I think
it will get better.
It's right now. It's really fun. Like that like it doesn't have a lot of games for how it's built, but like those simple like Fruit Ninja was super fun,
right?
In VR. But am I gonna play that for 3-4 hours?
So when
I can't. This to me, having a screen right in front of my eyes, I have very sensitive eyes. Like I can't look at lights. Like in the morning, I can't look at my phone. At night, I really can't look at my phone. So it like putting the bright light in front of me, it's just gonna make me not want to do that. But I think when like they got that treadmill kind of thing where you strap yourself in and you can run, I think that's like the next Wii calorie burning phase. Like, I'm gonna be able to play Warzone, but I have to run 100 meters.
So when I say like I think it's in its infancy, I think I simply am just saying I think it's still there's cool ideas being developed. I just don't think the support's there. So like I feel like once like the ball gets rolling and like they really pick up on like the developmental side, like then you'll start seeing like a lot of like those fresh new games that you're looking for being pushed out, and like you're saying like because that would bug me too, like having like a screen like an inch from my eyeballs, maybe just blaring LED light into my
filter that you can sit on top.
I'm thinking it's gonna get like
projectors. Like
All right, I hate to bring
mocap,
this one up,
VR.
but you know, like Sao, like Sword Art, like the anime and stuff. Like, it's probably going to be like a neural interface helmet kind of deal, like when you get to that point. But like,
we won't be here for that.
but like, I think it's exciting, and not just for like gaming. I mean, like other things in general. Like that makes me like super excited for like filmmaking and stuff. Like because like I know like James Cameron, for instance, he's always pushing that kind of stuff, especially with like I'm not very excited for these, but like those Avatar movies
to make Avatar because the tech wasn't there.
Yeah, but like you know, for like application for like that, and like it doesn't stop there. Like you could do like that could be like a therapeutic thing for like disabled people or people like suffering from like different kind of like ailments and whatnot.
Like here's a way to walk without walking.
Yeah, or like, but then that's like opening the door for like all kind of like robotics and all extra this kind of stuff. But I think it's cool. I think you know, once it gets recognized that
I do think it pushes us towards being more inclusive, like not inclusive. What's the word? Not going outside. Like, hey, my world is now inside my room. Kind of like the movie Gamer.
Or Ready Player One.
Well, Ready Player One's more about consumerism as a whole. But what's that Bruce Willis one where...
Surrogates?
Yeah. That's
terrible movie.
That's kind of what like I'm thinking in a bad sense. Because I think we need the world. We need to go outside. I mean, right now, it's kind of like, it's COVID. Don't go outside. Which is fine, but I think, you know, with every couple of people, there's someone that just takes it, consumes, and addicts to that sort of digital world.
Okay. All right. Well,
is there a next question?
No. I want to go on this one a little more, but like going off of what you said, I'm going to pull from my kid answer and just say like moderation. And also,
but people with that consumption addiction don't know what that is. Like me in eating, I don't have self-control.
But also, fuck those people, because I understand the distinction between this is artificial and this is real life, and I'm always gonna like want to drop a thing and be like, I'm gonna go for a walk because I miss the sunlight and the outside. Yeah.
How many cups of coffee did you have today?
3. It's nothing.
This morning?
I could go for 5 more.
So that's not moderation.
You pick and choose your moderation.
I choose not to moderate video games.
Yeah. Everyone is free to choose what they want, and whether it's destructive or not is totally up to them. So live your life. Don't care what other people think.
And you had Starbucks.
Fuck
too.
y'all. Yeah.
And the worst consumption you could do.
VR excites me. I think it's cool.
I mean, I think it's cool.
There's a lot of applications that you can.
I don't know if it
will
will ever be like what the Xbox is right now.
Or like, remember the beginning of The Island, where it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi and what's her face are like fighting in the Xbox.
It's like hybrid gaming,
just like that.
Non-VR.
It's like a cage fighter, augmented reality.
It's holographic.
Yeah.
It's really but his character spit out his avatar spit out.
Don't think too hard about it.
It's anyway. Like holographic. Yeah. All right, next question.
All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more.
All
right, next question is, some video games are very violent. Do you think they influence their players to be violent in real life? If so, what should we do about it?
I think they influence people who haven't, trying to find the word, been taught to differentiate reality from not reality, or people who or just don't understand the world. And you can say, oh, well, a 15-year-old doesn't understand the world. I'm like, no, a 15-year-old
has a pretty good grasp.
Not to shoot someone in the face. A 12-year-old mostly has that ability. Even, an 8-year-old has that ability of like, if I hurt someone, I'm hurting them. And I feel bad. Now, not everyone has the perfect life, which is, I understand, which is shitty. This is why we need gene modification therapy. And
stay on track, David.
We need gene modification when anyone's born. Get it.
Continue. Come on, we gotta go.
That's my answer. They are influential to people who don't take care of their kids.
I think because this has been like an ongoing debate in the media since like the dawn of video games.
Since Mortal Kombat came out,
Yeah.
and you can rip someone's throat out.
Yeah. But, I'd posit that, why just video games? Like, why not about
know, it's
movies and TV
or
and books and
the world?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna watch the news. 17 people were killed today.
Yeah,
that's more influential because someone real just did that.
society surrounds us with violent imagery constantly.
So you're in agreement? Gene modification. Cool.
I'm just thinking like a functioning human being could make the distinction. So okay, this is fantasy versus this is real life. I would say most of the population gets it.
I mean, but then there's the argument. Well, a functioning human being can still be a mass murderer.
Yeah, because you choose to, or you have some imbalance,
or
that's what I'm saying. The majority of people understand.
How you were grown up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene modification.
I would just say like the majority of us get it. There are outliers, and they ruin it for everybody.
But here's the outlier part. They're like the outliers of outlining because it's not the video game didn't make them shoot people.
Mm-hmm.
Your shitty parenting didn't teach them the difference between what's real or let them hurt animals when they're young and they're like, oh, this is what I like now.
But not necessarily. There's just some people. It's just a switch and it flips. But I mean, it could be any number of excuses or reasons.
When
is
time
what I'm saying.
travel exists, we can go back and grab what's his face, Jack the Ripper, and see if we can change his life.
I'm just saying.
Video games are not the problem.
They're not the problem. Saying, yeah. I just think that is a very uninformed opinion because there's a lot of other things
people
at play
who
there.
say that opinion
don't understand.
No, they just want to put blame on not themselves.
Yeah, it's
boomers.
Yeah, it's just they don't like it and they don't want other people to like it, so they'll ruin it for everybody. Moving on,
based on the religion or separation of church state.
Right, kind of working in the same ground here. Are video games addictive? Why can't some people stop playing?
Yeah, they can be addictive, but that's everything in the world. Mm-hmm. Drinking can be addictive. Moderation. Drinking coffee can be addictive. Smoking can be addictive.
Why are you attacking me?
Caffeine is addictive.
It's
on par of being addicted as a drug, but it's not as harmful, I think, as smoking and drinking for sure. But people pick their nails. That's addictive.
Yeah, you could pick anything and it could be addictive.
Humans like feeling the same thing over and over again. That makes them feel good.
Yeah, gratification.
Like being happy.
Satisfaction
is an addiction.
Other big words that end in un.
So if I like playing video games and I'm addicted to it, but here's the thing about addiction. It's too broad of a word. Mm-hmm. Like binging. That's just the biggest broad definition. I only drink once a week, but then I drink 10 beers. Is that binging? Or is binging, I drink 10 beers every single day?
So I've never thought to use the word binging with drinks. I've only ever used it for consumption of media. Yeah.
Well, there's binge drinking. That's a thing. But there's
it.
No hard definition where either of them can be.
Well, words are flexible. They can mean whatever you want them to mean.
I mean, words are made up concept by stupid humans. Like math. Why is 0, 0? Why can't 0 be the letter Z?
But yeah, they can be addictive.
But it's not the game. It's the person.
It's the person.
Addicted personality.
There's they have to sort things out for themselves. Everything is a choice. People have to decide to change and do things for themselves.
Or self-control.
Same thing.
Moderation,
Yeah. Moderation. Word of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a stupid word.
Right up on the screen.
Nope. It's gonna be
Rainbow.
It's gonna be
the more you know.
Not
reading
modern.
Rainbow.
We can't say that.
We can't. I don't fucking care. All right. I think that answered that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more, and then we'll be out. These days, this is question number 17. These days, some gamers make a living from playing video games. Do you think professional gamers are similar to the athletes in other sports? Why or why not?
I think we're on the forefront of this, really, because I think even in the past couple of weeks, major
gaming
streamers have been bought by certain brands and platforms. And maybe one day we'll go into a sort of athletic way of doing it where you draft gamers. What was the question?
One more
Like they
time.
get paid a lot.
These days, some gamers make a living from playing video games. Do you think professional gamers are similar to athletes in other sports? Why or why not?
Oh, well, that's just an opinion question. Yeah, because they are part of a platform or team. They are signed contract. They
Right.
make money and they perform. The performance is a little different because a lot of professional gamers, they're not that good, but they're entertaining to watch, which is like wrestling. They're a great wrestler and a great athlete, but they never win the belt. Like,
So I'll say
should they be paid?
it's weird because the way they frame, especially like professional
Sounds like
gamers, it's like they're presented in a way similar to athletes, right? So they're competitive on a professional level.
There's money. There's
Money involved. There's prizes. First, second, third.
marketing.
Teams.
There's sponsors. There's everything that's
Right.
involved in an athlete.
Very, very similar presentation to an athlete.
But I see them the same way, but it's just different. It's not athletic.
Right.
But like your mind is very powerful. Like you definitely have like like he doesn't exercise and he eats all he wants because he's like I just use my brain so much that I lose all the
Right.
burn all the calories, which I think is true. But it's just, me playing basketball versus me playing NBA 2K is different.
So like the idea I was going to present would be like, they're presented very similar to athletes, like advertised and like, like they train teams and all that junk. But like, I feel like in like practicality, they're almost more like not so much athletes, but like pick another form of entertainment, like musicians. It's just they like what they do requires a lot of skill, training, and like they have to perform. And it's like, it's like a skill, but like I don't know if an athlete is like a perfect 1-to-1 comparison because it's like there's a physicality involved.
I didn't see the question as that, but that's but I can see where you're coming from.
Right. So like I understand like the way we bolster them up in society,
Yeah.
they frame it a lot like athletes. It's similar, but I like in my mind it's almost like a different kind of arts related thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think I'd view them as actors too, because they're performing.
Right.
They're live.
Right.
And they act, but we don't know how they really. I know, like Dr. Disrespect isn't Dr. Disrespect
persona.
in real life.
Right.
Like he's just that. But then it's like Shroud. He's just a normal person, but we don't even know if that's who he is. He could just be like, all right, I'm just gonna be. But then like. Even athletes, like, they're totally different on the field from when they're at home.
Right. And I get that. That's how they present it publicly.
Too. Like,
I guess the distinction I make in my mind is it's like very similar philosophies and they're presented very similarly. It's just athletes, there's a physicality that is not present for gaming.
Yeah.
But there's not to diminish like the amount of training that goes into either of them. It's different.
I think we can agree on one thing too, that the top tier of athletes, gamers, and musicians, they've put thousands and millions of hours into their craft, but it was meant to be. They were just born to do that thing. Like being a great athlete, like you kind of were. There's a part of it that you were like, I'm gonna be a great athlete. It's just gonna happen.
So you definitely are like the talent is the linchpin to success.
Talent.
Because I think hard work helps a lot.
No,
too.
I'm not. I'm saying I literally said that's the first thing. It's like you put thousands of hours to get better at it, but the way you were brought up, the life you had, all the help you had around it, also gave you the ability to just focus on that. I think like your brother, really good at Halo. There's a part of him that it just clicks. It's like getting math or getting a subject. It just clicks. And you have to work hard, though, to understand the full giant concept of it. But you understood the basics because it just, that makes sense. I think of it that way. But no, they have to pour millions and millions of hours to become a professional. I think someone says, like, someone did like a little
Are you talking about like the 10,000 hour rule?
Like,
Yeah.
because that's how many hours you spend from the time that you're like 7 to 18 to be a professional. And some guy at age 30, it was like, oh, by 48, I think I can. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it because I think you're more susceptible at a young age to be imprinted those. But yeah, they pour. There's so much investment in yourself when you're a professional streamer, professional athlete, professional musician.
But okay, so I know this isn't part of the question, but I feel like it should be addressed because it kind of comes up a lot where it's like if like they should be taken seriously, like professional gamers.
I mean,
like some people
have the argument that professional athletes shouldn't be paid what they're paid, and
that's definitely out in the world. I'm just saying, I'm like, if you can offer that kind of, because there's a lot of skill and training that goes into it, so just don't.
No one's pointing a gun to these subscribers on Twitch or YouTube. They are willingly paying money and then donating money.
Because they support, because they recognize.
Professional athletes don't have that. You can't donate $100 to Drew Brees. Maybe his foundation.
PayPal, man.
His foundation.
Direct.
Dr. Disrespect. Like, he's like, on a Friday, he's getting like $5,000 in donations because people like giving him money. And people want their message right.
I'm just saying, like for gamers, especially now, like, you know, as time has gone on, they're becoming more and more recognized. We're on the
forefront,
and people are.
And I can't wait to see the future. I think it's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like they have a set schedule. I mean, they have a set schedule, but it's like 52 weeks out of the year that we can get them, and football's 24 weeks.
There's definitely
basketball is 4 or 5 months.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things at play, but basically, I mean, like
musicians do a tour for 2-3 years, take a giant break. Like it's and you can do it from your home. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
It's just they should be recognized for the amount of time they sink into it. But all right. Final question, then.
The same but different.
It is this. That is a good,
but still the same.
That's a perfect example of same but different, but still the same.
Thank you.
Kind
of.
Yeah, they're the same.
But we are the same, but different. But the same.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Perfect 1-to-1. All right. Final question, and then we'll wrap this up. So, is there an upcoming game you're looking forward to playing?
Halo Infinite.
What is it? What do you expect from it?
I expect it to be Halo, and I'll do a positive and negative. Positive, it'll be a great story because they're bringing Halo Wars into it, and Halo Wars has its little fanboys that are amazing. But just watching the cutscenes in Halo Wars is pretty exciting. Negative, they are trying too many different things that is not Halo. I like Halo because it's basic. Shooting, secondary weapon, sets of grenades, shield, radar, let's go. Done. That's all I need. The hookshot looks cool, but it's not. No other Halo game has had this. And people's biggest complaint about 4 and 5 was like, jetpacks and running and shields. And they add an element to the gaming that some people enjoy, but I like 2 and 3 and ODST, basic. But yeah, Halo Infinite.
Cool. So I'm gonna go
Devil May Cry 6.
That's they haven't made any announcements. 5 just came out last year.
Devil May Cry 5.5.
There's probably get a special edition
Devil
before
May
we
Cry
get to 6
ODST.
announcement. All right, if it's not apparent, me and David play different kinds of games generally from each other with some overlap. I'll give you that. But I don't know. There's nothing I'm really super stoked about. I guess
other than Halo Infinite.
I mean, I'm not even really.
Yeah, you are.
Like, I'm gonna play it with you, but like on my own, I'm not that excited. I'm not super jazzed, bro.
He needs me to buy it. I told Sam this. It's like if they make a Halo Infinite Xbox, and it's like $800, not $900, I'm buying it.
All right, I'm about to speak a literal different language for David. I guess the only
Candy Crush,
Candy Crush Saga Infinite. No.
Patch number 672.456.
I'm almost at level 1500, man. The new Shin Megami Tensei game I'm kind of interested in.
Whoa, what is that?
Which is a JRPG, like dungeon crawler type thing.
Crawler? What's that?
So, like, think Pokemon. Lots of grinding, monsters
RPG?
against monster. JRPG. a Japanese RPG.
So it's in Japanese only?
It's coming to America.
English subtitles?
So I kind of picked up on those games like around like probably like 4, and then picked up Apocalypse. But I've played like the Persona games, which is like an offshoot. Nobody's interested in this. This is super boring. But I got into the Persona games around 3, which is like a spin-off.
You're saying
of those.
words that are either nouns or actual names.
Think of Pokemon.
No, it's not about not know. It's like, is Persona a developer or a set of games?
Persona is a
saga.
No, it's a series of games.
And that's
There's 1, 2, 3, 4,
Persona
and
1,
5
Persona
was
2
the last
the
one.
name, okay,
Yeah.
So you're not being
Yeah.
Talk to me like I talk to you about beer.
Okay, so like Personas 1 and 2, you're like most of the time you're like a Japanese school student, and you have to capture demons and fight demons and capture more demons.
Sounds like a top-down game. Am I wrong?
It's changed. It hasn't been like it's shifted over the years. It's changed. The franchises have changed as the times have gone on.
From like first to top down to tower defense.
It's so difficult without having like a physical thing to show you.
It's a podcast. You got to be you got to be good at
Personas 3 through 5, they introduced it's almost kind of like a dating sim on top of that a little bit, where you have to like balance like your social interactions with different people while going through a calendar year.
So realistic.
And there's like an overarching.
So realistic.
But that's Persona. That's a spin-off.
Sounds like it would be a good VR game.
Probably. But the Shin Megami Tensei games, similar, but different, but similar. But yeah, so there's a new one coming out. I don't know if it's like this coming year or the next year, but there was an announcement kind of recently, and I like those games a lot. So yeah, I don't know. The last one was like apocalyptic scenario with like underground cities kind of thing in like a Neo Tokyo, but it's cool. It's like otherworldly samurai. I don't want to get into it, but I think it's cool, and it's coming up, and I'm kind of excited, but not like so excited. If like there was like a new DMC, not that level of excitement.
Other than Halo Infinite, there's one game that I'm hearing,
or like a new Metal Gear.
I'm hearing Tremors,
like
in the Force.
Yeah,
and rumors.
Yeah,
Mario Sunshine 2 for the Switch.
2? They're not doing a remake first.
So that's the rumor. It's like a remake or 2.
Because usually they test the waters. Because like that's what they did with the Crash games recently.
And the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. That was the test for Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I don't think Nintendo needs to worry about testing waters.
It's more so the other companies.
Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation need to, because their fanboys are toxic.
Well, Nintendo fanboys are toxic too. Can be.
They're
they
toxic.
Have the capacity.
They're toxic to the origin and not the gameplay. Because those Nintendo fanboys are going to buy every Nintendo game. The Call of Duty, Xbox, PlayStation fanboys that are pussy ass bitches that complain about,
controversial.
Their 60 frames not being 60 frames because, they're playing on a 30 frame system. But whatever. I play on an Xbox too. But I'm just saying, like, I think they can literally put out a Mario Sunshine 2. It can be a terrible game and people are still going to buy it. But I've heard little rumors that they're making one for the Switch. I still don't have a Switch and I still need to buy one.
Okay. All right. We got a couple of minutes left.
Like 6 minutes?
6 minutes. You know what?
8 minutes?
That was all the questions, but I kind of want to ask you one more just to close it.
It's 9 inches.
That's it. We're done.
We're done.
Okay. So, all right. This is more of a fun one. So, like, pick a gaming franchise you like, and like, imagine the next entry and what you would like to see from it. Like one that doesn't have anything announced. So you can't pick like a Halo. So like another game you really like. So like me, like I would like.
Oh, I got something.
You do? Oh, go ahead.
And I feel stupid saying it because it's like, I mean, they could easily do it like a DDR.
Oh,
they just released a PC beta, Konami, and I forget what it's called, but it's on PC only. but I've dug into this giant Reddit forum where it's like, why can I program a DDR mat to my Xbox One?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no. And Konami won't make a new one. No, and because no one's going to buy the game, and no third-party developers are going to make the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love, and it does, like a remake of Extreme 2.
That'd be pretty cool.
With the pad. People will buy it. I think nostalgia will kick in. And also, we are indoors. People would love just to be able to do a couple songs a day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did just announce one, but I want one for the console with the pad.
Cool, man.
I would even buy a metal pad.
Would you bundle it with a pad?
You have to. I mean, they've always done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, all right, just a quick one. So Devil May Cry, obviously, but so another franchise that I'm very fond of that I've not seen an entry from in a long time is the Onimusha games. So, and now hear me out.
Never heard of
you
them.
never heard of it? Very good, solid,
what kind of
hack and slash kind of
Okay.
Platformer games. But I feel like they've really paved the way, especially recently with a lot of these more recent titles that have been coming out. So your Sekiros, your Ghost of Tsushimas, a lot of these samurai.
Did you say that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Japanese listeners, correct me, please.
I don't even know what it is.
But it's Kurosawa style samurai kind of fantasy battling thing. But so the Onimusha games are a lot like that, but there's a little bit more of a fantasy element. So there's like demons and stuff. Oni, I don't know. And the third game in that series has Jean Reno. He's in the game from the French guy from the 1998 Godzilla movie. He's in it.
As himself?
As himself.
Nice.
And he's got this chain whip and he just kicks so much ass in that game. And I'm like, what happened to those games? I want to see those again. And I haven't seen one in over a decade. And I feel like they did a HD remaster of the first one a year or two ago. And I think that was them testing the water. And I feel like they might be announcing something soon-ish. But that's something.
COVID ruined E3, so we're basically waiting for small developers to do their own.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's waiting for a game. Because I had to wait over 10 years for DMC to put out 5. So it's crazy.
Psychotic.
Especially Capcom. Capcom's terrible about holding their stuff.
They're
But anyway, that was it.
They did lose their major platform.
What?
Arcades.
No, you're thinking Konami.
No, Capcom.
What? Well, okay, Konami and Capcom are both pretty,
hardcore arcade games.
Big into pachinko machines.
No one has an arcade, not no one, but
stuff.
Not everyone.
All right, but that was just a fun one.
Okay.
So, that's it. Games. Cool.
Part 2.
You decide.
Thanks for watching and listening.
Keep digging, keep listening. Beer Me That Beer is a San Diego-based craft beer YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and podcast show.
And for more of us, check out beardmethatbeer.com. That's beardmethatbeer.com. If you want to reach out directly to us, email us at bmtbinfo@gmail.com. That's bmtbinfo@gmail.com.